Derek Sweet Coulter of the English River Miners. How are you today, Derek?
Hey, I'm doing good, Jay. Thanks for having me.
Like say you're preparing for your the Miners' first ever appearance at the in the Bill Salonen Championship series of the Superior International Junior Hockey League. Can you just comment a little bit going into that series?
Well, obviously we're excited to be there. I know the community is really rallying behind us right now, and we've been off for about a week since our semifinal series. So I know the boys are excited to get going, and it all starts tomorrow. So
So, and like you say, you have two games on the road against Dryden, and with your record, you're 4-9 against Dryden. But out of the four wins, three of them came coming home, and one on the road. Like I say, now is it harder going into their barn compared to playing at home against the Ice Dogs?
well, we know that they play well at home. That's the biggest thing, and I think every team in the league knows they play well at home. So that being said, for sure, it makes it tougher on any opponent going in there. We like to think at this time of year anything can happen, and we need to just go in there and stick to what we do well. Play fast and make sure we're protecting the middle and hope for the best. Playoff time is a special time of year, and we're hoping to get off on the right foot tomorrow.
And like I say, anybody who's follows sports, we all know that, like I say, playoffs or the postseason is a wholly different animal compared to the regular season. And in saying that, heading into the playoffs, you're facing Braden Alkins, who's had 97 points, and Patrick Zubik, that's only averaged 1.29 goals against all season and heading into into the series. How do you shut those guys down going into the series?
Well, I don't think you're ever going to completely shut down players like that capability. You just try to limit them the best you can. We have guys on our side here that we're very confident in that we can match up well. It's just going to be all about execution, and of course try to get a couple bounces along the way. But yeah, we feel we match up well. We feel if we play the way we can, it's going to be a tough series. We're hoping for a good competitive series here.
And like you say, going into the series, and you mentioned some of your guys like Michael Delullo, 42 points in the regular season and 8 points in the playoffs. So he's averaging almost a point and a half per, like you say, per game. So can you comment a little bit on what he's like going into the final series?
Michael, he's very excited. Of course, his first playoffs here as the junior A hockey player, and he's going to be in the finals. So it's a big thing for him to really soak it all in. He's been a big power forward for us. He may be 18, but he plays like a veteran. He's done very well so far in the playoffs. And when you play a team like Dryden, they got some big guys on the back end, and we're going to need him to play a power game and drive that puck to the net like he's been doing the whole playoffs so far. So we're excited, for Michael, and I'm sure he's really excited to get going.
Now, like you say, talking about, I guess, say penalty minutes. During the season, Dryden had 11:27. You guys had 10:40. Should the fans expect probably a quite physical series going into the final series?
Yeah, I mean it's a rivalry, right? We're only 2.5 hours down the road here, and we know them quite well. They know us quite well, and I wouldn't say that it's going to be a soft series. We know it's going to be a tough series. It's going to be a war, and that's the way it was all season long. These two teams compete hard against each other. I think the fans are in for a treat. It's going to be really good competitive hockey, and like I said, a war out there.
And then that's one thing. One thing about, I guess, people who are listening, hockey fans, and I'm based in Sault Ste. Marie, so you have the Sault Thunderbirds who are part of the CJHL also. They're playing in the town a city of 75,000 people, where for you guys, you're a town of 4,600. So it's probably quite exciting for the guys. Where here in Sault Ste. Marie, when a greyhound walks around, people know who they are. So in Red Lake, probably most people know who the Miners are, right?
Oh, you bet. And the boys, we have them, in the schools and in the community, and that's a big thing for us here. We got to be positive role models. We got to be doing the right thing on and off the ice, and that's a big part of our program. Is developing our players here for their own lives. We all want to win, but at the end of the day, our boys here are going to be moving on to be men, and they're going to have their own families, and we try to prepare them for that, and definitely the community piece is a big part of it. And when you're walking around the Red Lake area, people know who you are. So these kids have done a great job this year of representing our organization, and on and off the ice really well. But yeah, for sure. I mean, you gotta make sure you're taking care of your community, and the community takes care of us, and the boys are all really happy to be playing here in Red Lake.
And yeah, they look at it as playing junior hockey, but from a coach's point of view, it's something as you're grooming young men, right? And they don't realize that, but it's something they'll realize that looking back a few years from now when they looking at the championship series, that's what they were doing, right?
Yeah, you bet. And my mentors that I've had in my life have always said it's a process, and if you do the right things on and off the ice, the success, it comes later, but you got to make sure you stick to the process. And the outcome may come later, it may not, but you got to do the right things on and off the ice. And winning obviously is a big part of it, but at the end of the day, like you said, these kids might not all understand right now, the development and what they're doing, but a few years down the road, for sure they will. And we'll get those calls when the kids are 30 years old or 35, and that's always a special call when you get a call like that from one of your past players, and they say, "Hey, I know you're just trying to teach us about life, and hey, I get it now because I'm living it." So it's a special thing.
And like you say, with you, I compare you. You're a lot younger than I am. As you're just probably finally realizing that yourself, right?
You betcha. And you know what? It's life is a battle itself. It's no different than a hockey game, and you're going to go through ups and downs. And you know what? Sometimes you're going to get beat down, and you got to get up and get going again. So I mean, that's what we try to teach our players. It's not going to be all puppy dogs and rainbows. You're going to have your bad days, and you're going to have your good days. The biggest thing is have the courage to continue on and keep grinding.
And that's one benefit of a 7 game series, right? Any coach wants to be winning 4, but like I say, when it comes to final series, that's why you have 7, so that like you have a bad one game or two, you still got another 5 to worry about, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we're preparing for a long series here. I mean, we know this is going to be tough. I mean, this is going to be our biggest test of the year. We set goals at the start of the year, and we've updated them along the way. But one of our first goals was we wanted to make sure we were in the top 3, at the end of the season, and we were able to attain that goal. And then obviously the next goal was to, win our semifinal series and get to the finals. And then now our goal is, to win the SIJHL. So we just keep setting our goals and trying our best to attain them and see where it all falls.
And one thing, I talked to Wayne with Fort Francis and Mike, the president, with Dryden, and with you being one of the smallest communities in the SIJHL, how do you attract players to Red Lake when there's so many different options out there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say it's easy. It is a lot of work, and sometimes a lot of convincing. It's scary sometimes for parents to let their kids go, especially a long ways away from home. I've found I've had my best luck when I'm actually sitting down with the families, and we'll have supper and we can go over the program and kind of what we're doing. And I found that to be a lot more beneficial than just sitting over email or over the phone. So that's really helped us out. And of course, I'm from Vancouver Island, so I was raised in Victoria, BC, and I still have a few contacts out there. And obviously I go live out there in my summers out west. So that's a big benefit to it as well, where you're able to drop in on some of these spring camps and touch base with coaches and players and things like that. So yeah, I mean, it's a thing where we wanted to build this program up so one day the recruiting might not be as hard as it once was, and I think we're on our way there. And I think if you talk to any of the kids in the program now, they can attest to it that Red Lake and the Miners is a great place to play.
And you talk about, like, say, when it comes to recruiting, it's something this year. It looks like you won't be doing spring recruiting; it's going to be more summer recruiting. But also, the farther you make it and making in the championship series, surely does help with recruiting, right?
Yeah, for sure. And we've already sat down as a staff and talked about that. My head scout is Chris Pimblott, who we used to work with the Kamloops Blazers back in the day with Don Hay when they were winning the Memorial Cups, and he's actually. We sat down and talked, and he said, "Yeah, well, this might be a little tough on our recruiting now because you're not out there, doing what you do in the spring and things like that. But I mean, that's all part of the process, and we got, we're going to have to learn how to get going on the recruiting path after the season's over, and when we've never had a chance to go late like this. So, it's a process. We're all going to be learning, and it's a thing where we're going to have to maybe reach out to our contacts and our scouts, a little earlier here than we usually do. But we'll figure it out.
And there's still 2 teams playing where the other 4 are recruiting because they're recruiting where they're not playing anymore. And if asking you as a coach, you'd probably rather be playing right now compared to recruiting, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if we're playing, then that means we're doing something well. And like you said, Jay, I mean, it's going to help our recruiting in the future, just being in the finals and hopefully winning the finals and moving on. So I think that in its own right is going to help us with our recruiting. So and like you said, the other teams are already recruiting. I know Wayne's going to be working hard there to pick up some guys for next year, and we're all battling against each other. So it's that never changes.
Exactly. And then in Canada, you're fighting for over 100 teams to find players through Canada and North America. So it's a battle every year, right?
You bet. Yeah, you bet, Jay.
Well, thank you very much, Derek, and good luck on Friday, Saturday, and hopefully we can talk next week.
Right on. Thanks for having me, Jay.